Hi, welcome to the today's assignment for the day two assignment 5-day AI agents intensive vibe coding course with Google. Today's unit two agent tools and interoperability. Listening to the podcast and the reading the podcast and completing the code labs. Getting started with anti-gravity command line interface and exploring a Google Developer Knowledge MCP server in Google Antigravity. And today we are going to perform this code labs hands-on with anti-gravity command line interface and have the modules introduction, installation, and making directory of AGY-CLI-projects. It's a folder and changing the directory to the folder and for Windows systems, installing of the anti-gravity is performed in Windows PowerShell command prompt. And after installing the anti-gravity, um, we can check the AGY hyphen version, and we can check for the workspace, accessing of the workspace. And we are going to complete the modules. The first interaction with anti-gravity command line interface. And command line interface, a few housekeeping commands, checking for the few housekeeping commands, and anti-gravity CLI command parameters, checking for the parameters, um, configuration settings, checking for the telemetry like sandbox mode, the settings, everything we are going to do in the code labs. And we are going to test the anti-gravity shell mode, some use cases to try out. Checking for all the um, housekeeping commands and some of the command prompts to work in the anti-gravity CLI workspace inside the anti-gravity terminal. And this is the first lab, and the second is about the Google Developer Knowledge MCP server. So we have to enable the Developer Knowledge API and exploring the MCP tools and accessing the code lab by configuring the cloud project, enabling the developer knowledge API key. So that's the second code lab is all about. Accessing of the MCP service, um, custom MCP service, um, opening of the anti-gravity IDE settings, and Google Workspace Cloud Run. And after completing the lab, we are going to clean up by deleting the credentials API created in the Google Cloud. And this is the anti-gravity IDE installed. And we are checking about the settings, configuration, and the parameters of configurations, and activating the bash mode. So just checking on the housekeeping commands inside the command line interface in the anti-gravity IDE terminal, and creating the web application by providing the prompt. Please build a web application for me using Python Flask and plain vanilla HTML, JavaScript, and CSS that fetches the BigQuery release notes from the website https docscloud.google.com and shows them to me. A simple refresh button with a spinner is good enough anytime. So this is the command prompt typed in the anti-gravity terminal, and so it consumed some tokens and able to create the terminal uh, app web application in the local host and could able to visualize the application in the local host. Also to upload the application in the GitHub. And after that, for the second part of the code lab, for the developer Google Developer Knowledge MCP server in Google Antigravity 2 IDE um, in the command line interface. So also the execution of the commands related to the developer MCP server is also done in today's lab. Um, So for that, the credentials inside the Google Cloud Terminal, creating the credential API key for the developer knowledge API is being created, and an API key is obtained to work with the MCP configure.json. Gemini configure slash mcp configure.json command prompt. Yeah, that's for the today's lab sessions. Working with the Google Developer Knowledge MCP server in Google Antigravity 2 IDE, and the starting work with the anti-gravity command line interface terminal. Yeah, thank you.